Yo, 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 what's up, everyone? Thank you so much again for checking these Bread4Soul Convos out. This is a platform that is the aim really is to share knowledge and experiences of our music industry, the music industry at large. Sharing ideas, sharing, like I say, knowledge and experiences with the hope that they will inspire someone out there or spark a light of inspiration. And today I've got the legendary Terry Hunter, who's from Chicago, who started 30 years ago. 30 years, oh my gosh, I feel so young now. I mean, I probably am young, but anyway, thank you so much for doing this, bro. How are you?
I'm good, my brother. Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad to be on the show. Peace
Bruh,
to everybody in Africa and around the world that's tuning in. Big ups, SA.
for sure, for sure. It's so good to see you because, like, the first time I met you, you seem to be someone who's always in high spirits, and
Uh,
you seem to be in high spirits now, despite the COVID-19 issues.
yeah, it's the thing of it is believe it or not, we all are dealing with this around the world, and I think this is the first time in my life that the whole world was affected by something. Like everyone is in, no one can go out, and so I have to laugh instead of crying, however that saying goes. But like, it was really rough for me in the beginning because we didn't have any warning. It just stopped. It was like just cold stopped. I remember I was on my way to Manchester
Mm.
for a gig with Bobby and Steve, Barbara Tucker, Dave Law, and our president came on and said, "Hey, we stopping all flights to Europe except the UK." And so I'm like, okay, well, cool. This was like in mid March. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go over there, do the gigs, and come right back. But then, of course, with this president, um, there was a big but behind it. So the but was, if you're in the UK, you can come back fine. But if you leave the States and go to the UK, then come back, you're automatically quarantined for 14 days. And that was something that I couldn't take a chance on with my family, being at home. And so I opted out not to go, obviously, without
Mm.
really knowing the severity of what was going on. And the same as Barbara Tucker. And then that was kind of like, boom,
Yeah.
this is for real. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so obviously the following week, we were supposed to be doing Southport Weekender. And then it was like chances that that was still going to happen because obviously the flights were still going
Mm.
into the UK. And then, of course, they shut it down all the way. So that's when it kind of happened. It was just like, okay, Southport's done. Now all of my April's done. And
Mm.
then it was just calls every day, everything in May canceled, June, and so forth. And so obviously, it was a bit of a hard one because I was like, yo, we didn't have any time to prepare or plan or
Mm.
anything, and it
Mm.
just the world stopped.
Eh, and
So I kind of went into my mode because everybody's like, oh, you use this time to be creative and blah blah blah, and and for some people that worked, but for me, I couldn't do nothing in the studio. I didn't have motivation to do anything. Like it took me probably 3 weeks to start doing my first live mix. You know what I mean?
mm.
So once I got into that, that was kind of my way of kind of venting, excuse me, through playing records.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't able to get in the studio and do anything. But now I'm finally back
Yeah.
moving and working. So
Bro, I'm glad you're back, but I'm sure it cannot be easy. I mean, I was chatting to DJ Christos just 2 days ago, and he was
yeah,
planning this massive dance music summit, to give education
yes,
to people, and a festival after that, So he spent a lot of money, and I also know you spent a lot of money. You were about to celebrate your 50th birthday, and
yes,
you've been promoting it for such a long time. Imagine Your Music Festival. And tell me
absolutely.
the effects of that, bro, like financially and otherwise.
Oh man, listen, it was crazy. So really, before that, um, I'm a part of the Chosen Few DJs, and so we have a big Chosen Few festival as well, and that's the first weekend of July. So we started dealing with that immediately, and it was so crazy because it was so many massive things, monumental things that was happening this year. In the city of Chicago, they declared it to be the year in music. So the city was backing and doing a bunch of stuff. And then we was dealing with Chosen Few. So obviously we had to huddle up and figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Mm. And people that haven't been or don't know, Chosen Few is a massive festival that we do, 30 to 40,000 people. And that was a huge decision for us to make. So we canceled that like a week and a half ago. And we're going to try to put together a virtual festival with doing that. And so I knew right then and there, people was like, no, wait. Because Imagine a Music is again, it's a celebration of my birthday, me turning 50. It was a way for me to start up another festival to represent our music and what we like around the world. And the title says it, itself, Imagine No Music. So I wanted to get a bunch of creative friends. Obviously, we had to go light this year on the talent. Thank God we did because of what's happening. And I got some friends that wanted to celebrate with me, and we was, planning on doing this every year. So it's funny, you're getting the jump on this because we have not officially canceled yet. So people are going to hear it here first. We're going to put out a statement on Monday announcing that we're going to cancel, but I think it's the right thing to do. Because all we need is for one person to go over there to get infected, to bring it back to somebody else. And again, we don't know the climate of what's going on in DR, in Dominican Republic, in Punta Cana. Everything is shut down there. No flights are going in there. And they said they was going to resume flights like mid-May. Now it's the end of June, possibly July. And it was just too close to try to take that chance. So the best thing to do was for us to cancel it. And you look forward to doing 2021. And it was, and like you said, me and my partners, it was a huge financial loss because we invested a lot of money in it. Obviously, there was deposits put down on, transportation, clubs, promotion, deposits for DJs, even some flights. And, hopefully we could try to carry some of that stuff over to next year, but a lot of money we just lost on it. It was a disappointment, man.
Damn, bro. Man,
yeah.
I think it's enough of the heavy stuff. Otherwise, I'm, like... Oh, man. Yeah, no. This thing has really kicked us in the butt, to be honest, But
yes.
I want to talk about the music now, right? Let's just take it back to the music and talk about something enlightening, I want to ask you, bro, like, so in 2006, you became the first new member of the Chicago Chosen Few DJs. And
yes.
what does this group of DJs, what do they stand for, and why so long that in such a long time you were only in 2006 the first newest new member?
Right. So first of all, big up to everybody in the Chosen Few. How it happened, it started in 1990, and in Chicago there's a museum that's on the south side of Chicago. It's near our lakefront, and it started off as just a gathering of people getting together playing music. So Wayne Williams, which started the Chosen Few, was doing parties early on in like the 80s, using that name. And so it was, they started out playing softball. They brought their turns. It was just a little small family gathering. And each year, more people started coming. More people started coming. And then around the city of Chicago was just like, oh man, you going to the old school picnic? And so it was bubbling. And so at that point, it was, in the early 90s, it was maybe not even 50 people. And it just started growing and growing and growing and growing. And they had the Chosen Few. So the first, it was Wayne Williams, Jesse Saunders, Alan King, Tony Hatchett, Andre Hatchett. And as time went on and the picnic was picking up, it was like that was the thing to do around July 4th, the 4th of July in Chicago. People would start bringing out their grills. barbecuing, listening to music, and it was just a free thing behind the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. So it's a well-known museum and the only museum in Chicago as far as the science and the science and industry thing. And so it just started blowing up, and we all have been good friends, as DJs and brothers. And the thing about that I like with Chosen Few, it was actually a brotherhood. You had to kind of be. It's not like a cult or anything like that, because I've heard that. But it's funny, like it was just like-minded in music. And I think at that time, and this is from what Wayne told me and what people said, we were good friends, and Wayne just liked what I was doing and how I was representing the city throughout my travels and what I was doing with DJing and my records. And they wanted to take it to another level, kind of more internationally known. And he asked me to be a part of it. And absolutely, I was like, oh, man, let's do it. And so it was funny, the first year that I got inducted, I believe it was 2005, because the first picnic I DJ'd at was 2005. I got inducted 2005, excuse me. And the first one I DJ'd was 2006, because when they asked me to join, I was booked to play in Europe somewhere. So I couldn't make it. And so from that point on, we was pushing it. And when I joined the group, like the following years, it was like maybe, I'm gonna throw a guess, 1,500 people. And then when I came a part of it, it jumped in numbers, and I may be wrong on it, but like it doubled maybe. So maybe it was 3,000 people. Then the next year it was like 6,000 people. And then the next year it was like 10,000 people. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And that's how we got it going. And, we stuck together, we pushed it. I was pushing it a lot with my brands and internationally. And people, what is this Chosen Few? What is this Chosen Few? Mm-hmm. And it was just really based on people getting together. They would bring their grills out, barbecue, bring their family, and we would just play music. And it got so big to the point the city was like, hey, this is turning into something else. Y'all gonna have to really protect the people and do the production right and turn this into a proper thing, whatever this thing is that you're doing. So it kind of went from the Chosen Few old school picnic to the Chosen Few festival. Mm. And so that's when you got to get involved now. You got to hire production companies. You have to get fencing and proper porta potties. And, it's just a real event. So now, years later, man, the 30th anniversary, we're 30 to 40,000 people, and it's still growing. That's the scary part.
Damn.
It's still growing. We find somebody from somewhere every year from around the world that is their first time coming. So it's an amazing, amazing event.
Wow, bro. 30,000 is a lot. But damn, I'm glad you actually jumped onto the picnic, because this is the picnic that I'm gonna play on next year, right?
Yes, sir. See, there it is. Because we talked about that though.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, that's one of the things. In all seriousness, we want to collaborate with our brothers in South Africa and show that, because at the end of the day, house music started here in Chicago, and what you guys have done to put your flavor in what everybody knows is Afro house, and it's amazing, like where you guys took it. You know what I'm saying? So it's only right. Like that's something I think we honestly should talk about, and we talked about it when I was in Africa, me, you, and Wayne, and that's something that seriously we're going to do, like most definitely. But obviously, we may be a year in delayed now, because obviously we're going to probably try to continue the lineup from our 30th to 2021. Pray to God everything is okay. But no, that's something that we seriously want to do, and not just for the Chosen Few picnic. From the production end to, there could be events that's during the year that we can collaborate on. So that's a big thing for us and myself that I want to see happen.
Yeah, definitely. I do feel that we do need to actively build these bridges,
Yes.
and connect the two places, because there hasn't been much. It's been very isolated, and that's cool. I like the fact that a lot of guys in SA have been calling up a lot of producers, whether it's American producers or guys from from Europe. Then
Mm-hmm.
Underground was here last year in July, I think, like that. So
Mm-hmm.
there's just one in many other people who come into SA year in, but we need to kind of create the culture of having guys from here going that side and having that bridge, but obviously properly done, not just for favors, but to really really
Absolutely.
build the scene. um
No, we have to. And I
yeah.
mean, thinking of that, I used to do a night in Chicago. Club is now closed. It was called the Shrine, and we did a night called Bang Sundays. And we kind of started back then with that. I was the first one. Big ups to Black Coffee, but I was the first one to bring Black Coffee to Chicago, and he played our night, and also Boosie. So that started with us, in 2013, 14. No, before that, maybe before that. And so that was been on my mind since then. And we kind of started it off with the club,
Mm.
eventually shut. And the club scene, has been up and down, obviously everywhere. But I think it's very important, and I think it will happen.
Mm.
I know it will happen on my end, at least. I
Sure.
know I'm going to do what I got to do to make that connection and help build that bridge, as you said.
Big ups for that, brother. I wanted
Yes.
to also talking about the scene. If you could, what are the significant changes that you've seen with regards to the Chicago scene? Like if you could paint a picture of it 10, 15 years ago, or 20
Mm,
years ago, and you look at it now, obviously before COVID-19 lockdowns and stuff.
right.
What are the significant changes that you can mention that Chicago has went through?
One of the to me, I would say the music, right? Because Chicago, in a sense, the early like house crowd, the early guys that were into the music, um, they were more into disco. They were more into the classic early Chicago house stuff. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so they were stuck in that mind frame. You know what I mean? And so at that time, from like the first time I ever traveled is when I put my first record out in 1990, and everybody was just stuck. They wanted to hear familiar records. They didn't want to hear anything new. And for me, looking at my heroes like Ron Hardy, Frankie Knuckles, I got taught by his family, Brett Morrison, who taught me how to DJ, and I'm listening to what they're playing. They were playing new music, so I never understood at those times when Frankie and Ronnie and all of those guys were doing their thing when playing disco records. Those were new records then. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it was like, it was a thing at one point where, hey man, they don't play no more old stuff. They don't play no more classics. And that was a really, really big thing in Chicago that really upset me. And then especially in 90, when I started traveling the world, I started being exposed to all this new music. And I was always into buying records and new music anyway.
Mm.
But I just remember playing, I swear to you, in a club, and I'll drop a new record that no one knew, and they would just leave the floor, bro. Like,
Wow.
leave the floor. And I just remember, and this was like the early 90s, man. And I remember people saying, man, you play all that new stuff, you play all that. And it was like, it was just a separation of, man, you playing that New York stuff, man. We don't, and it was a really big gap at one point, and I stuck to my guns.
Mm.
And then little by little, everybody was getting converted. And that's when I talk about years later, the bang. So, well, even before that, let's go before that. That phase happened, and then hip hop took over.
Mm.
Hip hop came in and just took over. The house scene kind of died, and when it was dying in Chicago, I was taking off in Europe, and so
No.
I was coming back home, and I was upset. Like, yo, I ain't got nowhere to go when I come home to hear any house music. So I was doing a lot of guest spots and a lot of clubs, and then it eventually led me to doing my own night because I was like, yo, I want my city to experience what I'm experiencing around the world. So I want to bring in these international acts. I've
Mm.
had, like I said, Coffee, Lee Vega, Boosie, Josh Milan, Joe Classell. The list is huge. And so in that time, a lot of the DJs, big ups to my brother Mike Dunn, that was just hammering new music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just us. the whole city started doing. You know what I mean? And so I think that's the biggest thing that happened in Chicago, is that we was able to turn the city around, because we was in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? The mid 80s, early 80s, we were strong on new music. All of the track stuff that was coming out, Move Your Body, this, that, Joe Smooth, those were new records.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where did we get this mindset of we're stuck in this era? And so that's one of the biggest things I've seen in my city change musically, is that they have embraced new music.
Yeah, that is dope. But I mean, it's interesting as well to note the different changes, because there's always gonna be resistance at some point, for new
Yes,
music,
yes,
and for new sounds. And
yes.
but I wanted to ask you. So I have a feeling that the role of Chicago, when it comes to house music, has changed, in the past. Would you agree to that fact? Because I mean,
Yes.
this is where house music started, but the role that Chicago plays right now, where do you see it? Where do you place it?
I place it coming back with the vengeance, I would say. I think that a lot of people, everything I look at, the publications are responsible for a lot of the um, movement that I think that's coming out of the UK. Even here, big ups to Five Magazine that's always doing stuff in Chicago. But um, all I'm seeing now and hearing is, oh, Chicago House, Chicago House, Chicago House. And I don't think when people say that, some are stuck in the mindset of the early stuff, and some are stuck in the mindset of the forthcoming stuff. So I think right now that Chicago, as in the world, has hit a reset, right? And that reset is allowing us, I think, what's so funny, that's a great question. In this past 5 weeks or however long we've been dealing with this pandemic, is that everybody stopped. Everybody is trying to figure it out. And even before that, I felt the movement of what we were doing in Chicago was really shifting. And you got people like, again, myself, Mike Dunn, Glenn Underground, Ron Trent, Ron Carroll. I'm doing a lot of stuff coming up with Gene Hunt, but just all of the singers we have: Teresa Griffin, Shantae Savage, John Pierce, Byron Stingley is still absolutely killing it. I could just name names forever, and I feel like we are now coming together as a unit. You know what I mean? And this pandemic has really helped with doing the live sets and the collaborations and us reaching out to do things together. It's bringing back that unity. It's like, look, it used to be this thing that I was laughing at. I was on the phone with my friend Jazzy Jeff, and we always had these
I mean,
crazy, like,
are you gonna just pass by like Jazzy Jeff, my friend? I mean, like, I know he's your friend, but like he's also a
right?
legendary figure. I mean,
Nah,
yeah,
absolutely. And it's just crazy because the conversations that we have, we speak about music, but we speak as brothers as well. And it was just like, I'm talking to him and I'm like, yeah, you remember, people used to say, hey, he's a bedroom DJ. Or like, I've never went live before on my own platforms. Obviously, I went live for other people's platforms, Mixmag and a bunch of stuff, but I've never went live for my Facebook until this pandemic happened. And I was talking to Jeff, and I was telling him, I was like, man, yo, what's crazy is that people used to talk smack to other people about, oh man, he a bedroom DJ. He DJ in his bedroom in his house. Everybody's DJing from their bedroom in their house right now. So,
you can see my setup right there. I've got a DJ setup. Yeah, that's what I do, man.
oh,
Yeah.
so that's what I mean by, like, it's crazy. Everything has stopped, and there's a reset, and we are all starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
So, as far as the Chicago movement, I see a lot of unity, and I'm proud to, because Chicago is already a segregated city. You know what I'm saying? The South Side is totally different from the North Side, and the North Side is totally different from the West Side. Like, Chicago is 3 different cities in one, just from culture, from just everything. You can look at someone in Chicago and be like, oh, he's from the South Side. Oh, he from the west side. Or they from the north side. So it's already a segregation there, but now it's I think we're back as one.
Yeah, I mean, it's dope that you mentioned that because in South Africa, and we had this conversation as well last year, and I was explaining
Mm,
that we've got different pockets of scenes. You know, it's still in the
yes,
underground, but you could have a deep house party, and these are, if I'm music wise, I'm talking about people who would play Jimstar or Lars Berendorf
yes,
type of music, and or Jazzwell, who's South African, or you could have another scene which is the soulful side of things, you know, and you could have that, and then the scenes where those two go together, but they are
right,
different scenes, not in not in a divisive way, especially
right.
within the underground, but more, you know, some events it's all of these scenes happening together. But the point that I wanted to get to is that last year when we were talking, it was me, you, and the colored brother, Wayne Williams.
The common brother,
the
big up Wayne Williams.
Yeah, the colored brother. I know he hates it for it. He's gonna
Oh,
kill
that's
me.
an inside joke, yeah.
And we were basically chatting about how like Black Motion in Chicago, a band and an outfit like Black Motion, it's still
Right.
underground. You know, it's rock
Yes.
underground. And in South
Yes.
Africa, because they've reached levels of success,
Yes.
popularity, monetary wise, they're not seen as underground as, you know, as they used to when they started. And it was
Right.
interesting to note that, because then I don't know if it's a, do you see this as a negative thing, or, you know, to have this segregation between popularity and non-popularity?
So the thing with that is, right, and I'm gonna tell you, me personally, um, I'm conflicted on that. And the reason why I say that is depending on the situation, I'm it upsets me that, you know, because a person reach a certain level, now he's not what you perceive that person to be in the beginning. If the music changes to that, then okay, I see. Oh well, you was doing this type of music, but now your stuff is washed down, and like you kind of lost it. I get that, but I just think that with that, it's putting a lid, it's putting a cap on artists, and don't do that. Don't do that to a DJ. Don't do that to an artist. Figure out where that person goes. We make mistakes. We go through different moods. I'm a person that never liked spicy foods. But I don't know what happened. I like a little spice in my food now. Does that make me not real to what I used to eat? Nah, I want a little spice in it. I hated it before, but I like it now. People change. So it's one of those things that, man, follow that artist, buy into that artist, and see. And guess what? They may not do exactly what you like from the last DJ set or last remix or last album, but follow him and follow his journey. It's a journey.
Mm.
And so I just don't like it when people say, he ain't underground no more. He didn't blew up. He too big now. And I hate all that. People stop. And it
Yeah.
happens all over the world. Take the journey. It's a journey, man.
Mm.
Go with that journey.
Yeah, man. I just wanna offer. I mean, like, go off a bit with regards to the conversation, because you mentioned
Yeah,
food, right? Um,
right.
do you have your phone with you, your mobile?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a picture, right, to
Okay,
show
wait, because
you.
I turned it off. Better what do I need to call me? I'm turning it on right now.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna send you a picture
It's
on
cool up.
WhatsApp.
It's cool up. Okay.
Just check it out there. Let me know
See,
when you
I
get
know.
it.
I think I know what you're finna do. If you do what I think you're finna do, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, you let me know when you get the picture. But
Okay, hold on. My phone is booted up right now. I'm gonna let you know. I had to shut it off because I'm like, I know this phone is gonna be ringing
oh yeah,
a
yeah, I get you.
million times. And that's the thing when people see you on social media, like, oh, you up? I'm calling you.
Exactly.
That don't give you a pass to call me. I'm doing something I did my spare time, and you calling me. Okay, here we go. We booted up. All right, let's see
Alright,
what you
alright, alright. Yeah, yeah. Cool.
got.
So yeah,
Yes.
do you remember what you were eating? Yeah,
So I remember it was basically like pig's intestines or something like that, right?
it was cow intestines. Yeah,
Cow.
yeah. It's called mohodu.
Say it again.
Mohodu.
Mahon.
Mohodu. Mo
Oh, Mahodu.
Mohodu. Yeah.
Mahodu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so so we were at Vinny's Mohodu Mondays, which was the session that he was doing
Absolutely.
every Monday, and yeah, we had a time, we had a jam, bro. And
Oh, listen.
yeah,
And it was good.
it was good.
It was
I mean,
good, man.
your face says it was good. I'll share this with people so they can see. Yeah. Um,
Absolutely.
but just talking about your trip to South Africa, obviously you came and you couldn't play because
Yes.
the event got cancelled and stuff like that.
Yes.
You
Yes.
came all this way.
Unfortunately, I was so looking forward to it because I hadn't been in SA in 2 years.
Yeah,
But yeah, we did an event there. Obviously, it was some politics involved, and it didn't happen, unfortunately. So that's all right. I got to link up with you
yeah,
and Vinny, a bunch of friends, and man, we had some fun. So rest assured, we as we talk, we're going to plan something again massive when all of this is over.
yeah. And tell me, does it happen often around the world when you're traveling that you get promoters who don't really are serious about what they do, or do these kind of things happen a lot for you, where you're just traveling so far and you end up not performing, or the gig something's wrong?
Yeah, you always incur some kind of problems, but I think the way we run our ship is kind of tight, and from the business end, everything was fine. Obviously, if things go wrong like it did in South Africa, because we were dealing with a great group of guys, but I think there was just some politics involved with them doing something, and they didn't go through the right people, and it just kind of got crazy. So we try to run our business really tight, and when we get there, it's just kind of up to the situation to happen. But for me, I haven't had a cancellation like that in a very long time. And the one thing was funny, I did an interview about a month ago, and he was like, "Yo, the people in Brazil really want to see you." And man, and I said, that's what's crazy. I have been to probably every place that you can think of in the world, and I've never been to Brazil.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I have been booked and have gotten more deposits going to Brazil, and the event never ever happened.
Are you kidding?
Never. I haven't.
What?
So anybody that's watching this from Brazil, when we come out this pandemic, let's make it happen. And let's make this thing happen. And you bring in my brother, Sir LSG.
For sure.
We do a Chicago, South Africa situation, but never been. I've never been. That's the place, the only place that I want to go that's on my bucket list that I haven't been.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Just before we close, I want to ask you about your. I mean, you did say that you are quite excited about the scene in South Africa and what South Africa has represented, with regards to house music. Who are some of the? And this is a question somebody sent on Facebook. They wanted to know who are some of the artists from South Africa that you've noticed that you've listened to.
Obviously, and I don't want to sound like the obvious, but there's a lot of stuff that, of course, I got to big up Coffee, but the whole the Ralph Gum, just the Ralph Gum, the Go Go Music family, the stuff that you're doing. Every time I get it, like I told you before, like when I get your stuff, it's like I don't have to listen to it. I'm putting it straight on. Obviously, Black Motion is killing it. I'm going to tell you what I've been that you put me on that I've really been into is if I'm saying it right, the I'm Piano.
I'm a piano.
I'm a piano.
Yeah.
Like I've really been checking out the whole vibes because that reminds me of a lot of the early stuff we used to do in Chicago, especially the tempo wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like right now we're stuck at, in America and Europe, 122 to like 125. And I'm a piano is a groove, man. It's it's that pocket that we really don't get to no more because we plan our sets and it's like, all right, man, we got to start off hitting and then we go. You know what I mean? And so that's really, really, I'm just searching. It's so many people in South Africa, man. You know how when you're in an interview, you're trying to think and it's not the Heavy K. Big up to Heavy K as well. Like love Heavy K stuff. Who else? Who else can I think of? It's so many, and there's so many new people that's doing some stuff as well. So it's just, man, it's just a whole movement. I mean, it's to the point like you guys should really be proud of yourselves because the Afro house, the house that's coming out that you guys are doing, you have influenced us. Look how the American producers and DJs are playing now. They are playing what comes from there. So that's like people, I don't think in South Africa really understand how you guys' music is influencing us. You know what I mean? And so it's so crazy. I got so many, you know, and I don't like to say the word fans. I say family. I got so much family in South Africa that I don't even know. I get messages from young kids, man, like, yo, Terry, we love you. When you come, like, it's mind-boggling that I'm getting messages, I swear to you, 4 or 5 a day from someone that I've never spoke to. Now on Instagram, and I'm looking at their profile pictures, and I'm like, yo, he's not even 20.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Like, so that's the thing, man, is that, man, big up to what you guys are doing and understand you're doing it well, man. You're affecting the world, and you're affecting the world with change in a great way because just the way I hear beats now, it's totally different. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, man, salute to South Africa.
Shout out to you for that. Shout out to
Definitely.
you for saying that. Definitely, bro. I'm so stoked and I'm so happy, you know, that you mentioned those points.
Man.
And
listen.
But I want to get to something else here.
Yeah.
That you mentioned that it's the age. This gets me excited all the time when I think about the South African scene, right? We've got a very young consumer market when it comes to house music. And
Absolutely.
I'm talking kids from 15 years. There's a friend of mine who's a producer. I was speaking to him on Monday. He started production at 11 and doing house music. You know what I mean? 11 years of age. And this guy, he's hitting this. He's 25 now. But there's a lot of young kids like that. And that's what I really love. One of the things that I really love about the South African scene. But when I want to ask you, when you guys are getting these 30,000 people for the chosen few, what is the age group looking like there?
Like, you know, what's so crazy about that I love is, let's take my son, right? My son is 12 years old, right? He goes to the picnic. He's grown from a kid to, he loves house music. He has no choice. My other son's 23, right? He grew up on house music. Yes, they love their young music, all the trap, hip hop stuff, but he loves and has an appreciation. So the one thing that I would say, there is no other event in Chicago that has kids from 5 years old to 20, and then 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. And so I would say, man, from 5 to 60. And I'm saying that for real.
Yeah.
Because again, Chosen Few is built off of a family situation. So we're the only event where we let me give the people some history so they can really understand about Chosen Few.
Yeah, please.
Picnic opens up. The festival, the gates open at 7 a.m. The first DJ goes on at 8 a.m. People are lined up to get in the Chosen Few picnic from 2, 3 in the morning. Because what happens now, before a few years ago, we didn't have it. It was like first come, first serve basis. When you get in there, you pick your spot where you're going to set up. People set up their tents and that's it. So now we are kind of organizing it more to where we do VIP tenting areas. So the people that buy the VIP areas come in, they can set up the day before, bring their grills, their coolers, security watch it. The rest is, once we set that out, it's just first come, first serve. People are out there 2, 3 in the morning to get a nice spot to set up. And we go from 7 a.m. to 8 to 9 or 9 p.m. And it's nothing but house music. So we are getting, man, we're seeing babies there now.
Yeah.
People are bringing their babies to the picnic. So it has really, like, I look from just 5 years ago, right? Somebody that was 15 or 16 in high school that are now in college or ending college and they're house heads.
Yeah.
Because they came to the picnic.
Yeah.
So I love that part, man. So it's definitely attracting the younger audience. And even you look over here with the producers, you see the shift going. You look at the Anderson Paaks and all of these other artists that are including house music, and the massive market really doesn't know that it's house music.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, it's just some, up-tempo R&B. Nah, it's house.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So it's like, cool, y'all put it out there, and when we come with the realness, they're not going to be so close-minded to the sound. They're like, oh, yeah, we didn't heard this before.
Yeah.
So it's definitely switching, man.
Man, and again, I'm very happy that you say that. And your picnic with the chosen few guys, the chosen few DJs. Let me be respectful with some respect.
Yes,
but
thank you, man.
yeah. But what you guys do is really amazing, man. To see so many people jam into house music, that is something that I would love to see. Going on generations and generations, because music does connect us in bigger ways than we sometimes realize. And just you mentioning that the kind of inspiration that you guys draw from South Africa, what we have drawn from Chicago and other parts of the world. But really, the power is the music. Like there is no even ego about it. Really, if we really are honest, and I think times like these where everybody's quiet, everybody's calm, maybe like stressed out, but at least we are quiet. There's less noise. We can appreciate the differences, but appreciate what really unites us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Listen, and that was one thing that we were talking about with parties. Let me tell you something. I'm definitely not going to take for granted not going to an event anymore. Because we got so used to it. I'll go next week.
Yeah.
Or I'll go the next time they do it. Yeah. Oh, I'll support him on this. It's like, nah, man. Nah. Yeah.
The first
I'm
event.
at everything. And because I don't want to ever see the world go through this. And it's just really, it's amazing in a way, man. And I think it's just greatness is definitely going to happen. And it's just, look at this stuff. Like, I started the same thing, kind of what you're doing. I do this thing on Instagram called Wellness Check on Wednesday. And I just did that because I wanted to check on people like yourself and be like, yo, how y'all doing, man? Everybody good? And that's something that I feel like is going to stay here. Like what you're doing right now. It should never, ever stop.
It shouldn't.
Because the pandemic is over and we back to normal. This should never, ever stop. And so it's important that these links and these bridges are connected. Like you said, it's powerful what we can do as a culture, as a music, just everything. Like it's really, when you think about it, it's deep. And I just remember years ago when I was working on, I started my album like really three years ago, and I went in and out of some deals. That's why I haven't came out. But the perfect title, man, is if you really think about it, Imagine No Music.
Yeah,
that's my life. Just like I'm in airports. I got the shirt on right now. I don't know if you can see it. My Imagine No Music shirt. Super. Like, yo, I walk through the airport. I walk down the street, and people look at the shirt and be like, "Oh man, wow, I can't imagine that. Wow, where can I get that from?" And so that statement really, more than ever, holds true to what the times that we're in right now. Just imagine no music, brother. I would not be on this computer, on Zoom, doing this interview if it wasn't for music.
For sure.
So I will never, ever take this for granted again in my life. Because I did. You always think in your mind, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, whatever. Nah, man. This is a wake up.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Bro, yes, as you said so much. And I really appreciate your views and your points. I really also appreciate the time that we're in. I miss the craziness, that they can bring, but there are a lot of positives. If we look at it in a different way, there can be a lot of positives, bro. Bro, there's so much that I didn't get to ask you, but I think we'll do another one at some point because
Man,
uh,
ask away. I know we got to end the show, but I'm here for you anytime, brother.
yeah.
Like, and when is this airing? If you
Uh,
don't mind me asking.
Today would be Thursday morning.
Oh, so Thursday morning. So listen, if everybody in South Africa, we're doing something special. If I can plug this, um, Ron Hardy was a pillar of Chicago music, and he passed away. And what we did with a group of friends, um, Frederick Dunson from the Frankie Knuckles Foundation, myself and the Chosen Few spearheading a situation where Ron passed in 1992. And to this day, he does not have a marker or a headstone on his grave. And so what we did was we got together, used my platform, because when I go live, I want to be able to give back. I just don't want to go live to be going live. I want to go live with a purpose. So if anybody from South Africa or anybody around the world is seeing this, know when they see my live there, we're accepting donations and ask people to give to people that has been directly affected with this COVID-19 thing. My very first live, we had a fundraiser for the Frankie Knuckles Foundation, and they gave to people that were dealing with the COVID-19. I did something with a foundation, Women Empowered, and we was able to feed and still doing it 200 senior citizens and or elderly people that need food, and they deliver it for free. And so this one, we're doing a fundraiser to get Ron Hardy his headstone. For those of you that don't know, understand this man is responsible for so many people's careers like myself, but Marshall Jefferson, DJ Pierre, Larry Heard. I can just keep naming that the club that he played at, the Music Box, was a staple. And so we're coming together, we're doing a fundraising for him, and we're doing a live streaming
Mm.
Friday. If you guys are up, please check it out. We have a lot of the DJs. We have myself, Mike Dunn, Wayne Williams, Ron Carroll. We're going to get Ron Trent involved, Jamie 326, Celeste Alexander, Craig Loftus, Andre Hatchett, and we're all coming together for a great cause. And that's what we were saying earlier, is that I believe Chicago is moving forward with this camaraderie that we have and coming together as a unit for a greater cause. So tune in on Friday. The information will be all over my social media, and let's get down. Let's get it.
Dope, bro, dope. And I also wanna encourage everybody as well who's watching this that wherever you are, if you are in a better position to buy a loaf of bread for someone, to buy, to help somebody with a bit of food, please do wherever you can. Because
Yes.
there are definitely other people. If we are watching this, there are definitely other people who are currently going through much worse time, and if we can, let's please
Yes.
help one another, because at the end of the day, we are all human, like if you can help,
That's
just
it.
this, and it doesn't even have to be a huge amount or anything, anything small. You see somebody who needs food,
That's it.
help out, bro. um,
That's it. No
Bro,
doubt.
yeah, thank you so much for sitting down,
Listen,
bro.
man.
Like, I really, really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
No, man.
I'm inspired, and I'm not saying it in a vague way. I'm truly inspired by your work, and for somebody to have lived the career of music. You've been doing music for 30 years. I'm 32 years, bro. Like, you started
Yeah.
in music while I was a baby, and for somebody to do that so successfully and make a career out of it and still remain a nice person, I think it's commendable, and I really appreciate that, brother.
That means a lot, man. Thank you for real. Thank you
Sure.
so much. That means a lot, bro.
Sure. I can't wait for you to get back, man, so we can give you some
Listen.
more mohodu and maybe throw in
Woo.
a head, head of a cow there, other stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
Listen. There you go. Listen, I have to say, shout out to my girl, Monique Bingham, right?
Yeah.
And I love her. We've done a lot of work together and we got more to do, but she's always in South Africa. And I asked her, I was like, I need you to do me a favor. She's like, anything what? And I had her go get me this sticky plum sauce that is from oh my god, I know, why am I blanking? It's the restaurant in Nelson Mandela Square. It's a steak restaurant. What is the name of it?
Sakumzi.
Which one?
Was it Sakumzi?
No, it's right in the Nelson Mandela's at the square. It's a steak restaurant there. God, what is the name of it? I can't believe I'm blanking. Whatever it is, Monique brought me this. I was eating some beef ribs, and they put that on. And I asked them, I was like, "Yo, what is this sauce?" And they was like, "Oh, they make the sauce there." And big up to Monique Bigham. She brought me the sauce back all the way from SA, man. And every time I barbecue, I use it. It's amazing.
dope, bro.
I'm gonna send you a picture of it.
Yeah, so thank you. Bruh, no, thank you. I think let's park this here and we'll pick it up because I still want to ask you about your work with Aretha Franklin, how you did that massive hit with Jennifer.
Let's do a part two.
Yeah,
gonna set up a part two.
We're gonna do a part two, definitely, bro.
Let's get it, man.
Let's do it. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, my brother.
Peace out. Hey.